Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Digital Financial Services. This program is part of the Financial Skill Building Series, which is an ongoing collaboration between the San Francisco Public Library, the San Francisco Office of Financial Empowerment, and Balance. My name is Ramon, and I'm a program manager at the library's Business Science and Technology Center. We're about halfway through our Financial Capability Month programming, but we have plenty of upcoming personal finance topics for you to explore. Our next Financial Capability Month program is Long-Term Care Start Here, and that's happening tomorrow at 12 p.m. That's going to be followed by Navigating California's Insurance Crisis on the 21st and Cryptocurrency 101, Understanding Digital Money in Today's Economy on the 22nd. Scan the QR codes to see all upcoming finance events and subscribe to our BST newsletter. If you can't scan them right now, don't worry. I will share all the links in the chat. And now please welcome Hafisa from the Office of the Treasurer and Tax Collector.
Thank you so much, Ramon, and a warm welcome to everyone joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here for the San Francisco Financial Counseling's webinar, Digital Financial Services, which we're hosting in partnership with the San Francisco Public Library. So a little bit about us. The San Francisco Financial Counseling is one of the flagship programs of the Office of Financial Empowerment, which is part of the Treasurer and Tax Collector's Office here in San Francisco. Our mission in the Office of the Financial Empowerment is pretty straightforward. We bring people together, come up with new ideas, and advocate for ways to help all San Franciscans straighten their economic security and mobility. I'm Hafiza Salibay, and I'm with the Policy and Communications team for the Treasurer and Tax Collector's Office. Some of you may know San Francisco Financial Counseling, formerly known as Smart Money Coaching, provides free one-on-one financial counseling to anyone who lives, works, or receives services in San Francisco, regardless of immigration status or income bracket. Our service is open to as many people as possible. The San Francisco Financial Counseling Services are funded by multiple San Francisco city departments, and the services are provided by different service providers who have expertise in providing financial capability services to various communities in San Francisco. Balance is one of those service providers, and our San Francisco financial counselors joining us today are from Balance. Before I introduce our counselors, just a couple of housekeeping items. This will be an interactive presentation, so feel free to share responses and questions in the chat. We'll try our best to respond to your questions as they come in, and we'll make sure to save some time at the end as well. You can also submit your questions, and like I mentioned, in the chat. So whenever you have questions, feel free to enter those in. And also this session is being recorded, and the recording and the slides will be made available to all those who registered for this event. And with that, let me introduce you to our presenters today. Today we have Julia, who is a University of Cal Berkeley alumni, and she resides in San Francisco Bay Area. Julia is bilingual in English and Mandarin. We're excited to have her here to share her passion for helping others with our clients through San Francisco financial counseling. And joining her is Chris, who is a certified counselor and educator with experience in financial services, accounting, and nonprofit work. He partners with clients to navigate challenges, build their confidence, and achieve meaningful financial wins no matter what size. And without further ado, Julia and Chris, please take it away.
Thank you, Hafiza. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Digital Financial Services Workshop. My name is Julia, and I'm a financial coach from Balance. This is a 1-hour interactive workshop where we are going to learn all about managing finances in today's digital world. I'll be asking poll questions and thought questions for us to discuss in the chat throughout the session. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave that in the chat. Joining with me today is my seasoned colleague, Chris. Would you like to say a few words to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi folks. I'm Christopher Flores. I'm one of the counselors on the Balance Financial Wellness team for the San Francisco Financial Counseling Program. And as we mentioned earlier, there's a chat feature, and if I'll be monitoring that, so we'll do our best to answer your questions in real time. And again, Julia, this is a very interactive workshop, so Julia is going to be presenting information, challenging questions. So please pop that in the chat, and we'll do our best to be responsive.
Thanks, Chris. So I'm glad you're all here today. Before we start, I want you to know that this is a judgment-free space. Whether you're someone who's using digital banking every day or someone who's just getting started, you belong here and your experience matters. We also have a handout which will be emailed out along with a copy of the slides after the presentation. Today's session is about empowerment, not perfection. We're going to explore how digital financial tools can work for you, supporting your goals, reducing stress, and helping you feel more confident about managing your money. We'll be talking about security, yes, but also we'll be talking about mindfulness, awareness, and building habits that align with your values and lifestyle. I also want to acknowledge that our relationships with money and technology are deeply personal. Some of us may have faced barriers, whether that's limited access to technology, past experience with fraud, or simply feeling overwhelmed by how fast things change. All of those feelings are valid, and we're here to support each other as we learn together. So let's take a deep breath. Let's approach this time with curiosity, openness, and compassion for ourselves and each other. Let's get started. So let's talk about what we'll accomplish together today. By the end of this workshop, you'll be able to, number one, identify common digital financial services, the tools many of us already use or might want to use for banking, payments, and managing money. Second, recognize potential security risks, not to scare you, but to empower you with the knowledge so you can protect yourself and make informed choices. And third of all, we'll evaluate how these digital tools can support your everyday life, helping you to stay organized, aware, and in control of your finances. And finally, maybe the most important aspect, you'll apply at least one mindful habit that improves your digital financial safety and decision making. Just one small shift can create meaningful change. Today is not about memorizing everything. It's about walking away with something practical you can use immediately to feel more confident and secure in your financial life. So now I'd like to hear from you. This is our first poll question. I'm curious, which digital financial tool do you use the most often? Your options are online banking, mobile banking apps, digital payment apps like Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, or budgeting and money tracking apps. Or I rarely use digital financial tools at all. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's simply to help us understand where we're all starting from. So let's give that a minute here. And Chris, feel free to call out any responses in the chat.
It looks like definitely A has been prominent among a lot of participants here. Yeah, it seems like the most common. It reflects your B as well, mobile banking app. So the online banking website and the mobile banking app seem pretty popular. And yeah, and then of course, lesser amount of folks have referred to the digital payment app such as Venmo, Zelle, or Cash App. Yeah, and a handful are citing D, the budgeting or money tracking app. Mhm.
Great.
And
Looks like we have a variety of answers. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. So let's start with the basics. What exactly are digital financial services? In the simplest terms, digital financial services are tools that allow you to manage your money electronically through a computer, a phone, a tablet, instead of having to go to a physical location like a branch, a bank branch, or a store. Think about it this way. 20 years ago, if you wanted to check your account balance, you would need to drive or walk to the bank, wait in line, or call and navigate the phone menu. Today, you can check your balance in seconds from your couch or from almost anywhere. That's the transformation created by digital financial services. Some common examples include online banking platforms, that's using the website version, your mobile banking apps, which live on your phone, or digital payment services like Venmo, Zelle, the ones we discussed in our poll. There's also automated bill payment systems that can handle reoccurring charges for you. And what makes these tools special is that they allow you to complete financial tasks anytime and from almost anywhere. You're no longer limited by bank hours or physical location. And this can be incredibly empowering, especially for folks with busy schedules or mobility challenges or who live far away from financial institutions. So another question for us is, what's one financial task that's easier for you now than it was 5 or 10 years ago? What's something that's easier to do now thanks to digital financial services that might have been more challenging maybe 5, 10 years ago?
Julia, folks are saying here paying bills,
Mhm.
um, ATM transactions, depositing checks is something they've identified as something that's easier now. Through the banking app, looks like here, bill payments, multiple responses for that. Paying bills without need for a check or a stamp, etc. Those physical aspects of paying a bill.
Mhm.
Sending money across borders, another response here. Exchanging foreign currency, another response. Ways that folks are applying the digital services. Online
That's
banking, of
wonderful.
course.
Mhm. So it seems like we have more convenience to make transactions from home and deposit our checks to exchanging currency. So now you might be wondering, why does all of this matter? Why are we spending time talking about digital financial services today? Well, the reason is simple. Financial technology now supports the everyday tasks that used to take significant time and mental energy. Things like checking your balance, paying the bills, sending or receiving money from friends or family. These are all activities that happen throughout our daily lives. And what I want you to hear is that when used thoughtfully, the word thoughtfully is key here. These tools can genuinely improve your financial organization and bring you a sense of control. And I'm not saying these tools are perfect, and I'm not saying they solve every problem. But what research and lived experience shows us is that when we approach digital financial tools with intention and awareness, they can help us reduce stress, save time, and help us make decisions that align with our values and goals. Now, the opposite is also true. When we're using these tools mindlessly, clicking without thinking, sending money without verifying, or ignoring alerts and notifications, that can actually increase our stress and put us at risk. So today is about finding that balance, transforming these tools from sources of confusion or anxiety into genuine supports for your financial wellness. So a quick check-in, type in a yes if you feel like these tools reduce your stress, or no if you feel like they've added stress. Seeing a variety of answers rolling in. Some folks are saying, yes, I feel less stress, or both. Some reduce, some add. There are some concerns about online fraud and identity theft. So a mix of answers. And that's great that you point out some concerns, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. But let's get more specific now. Some financial institutions, and when I say financial institutions, I mean banks, credit unions, and even some newer online institutions provide digital services that can make your financial life easier. So here are some examples of common services you might already be using or might want to explore. The first is mobile check deposit. This allows you to take a picture of your check with your phone and deposit it into your account without ever going to the bank. For people who live far from a bank branch or have mobility challenge or want to save time, this can be transformative. Second of all are automatic bill payments. You can set up your mortgage, utilities to happen automatically. Now, when I say automation is wonderful, I also want to say automation requires mindfulness. You need to ensure that you have the funds available and that you are still reviewing what's being paid. So we'll also talk more about that balance later. And a third example are account alerts and notifications. You can get a text or email every time money moves in or out of your accounts, or when the balance drops below a certain threshold, or when there's unusual activity. These alerts are like having a financial assistant watching your accounts 24/7. And finally, many institutions now offer spending summaries or budgeting features built right into their apps. They can categorize your spendings from grocery to gas to entertainment and show you the patterns over time. And this can be an eye-opening feature helping you to make more intentional choices. All of these tools share a common purpose to help you stay informed and organizing without adding more work to your life. Let's also talk about digital payment options. That's how money actually moves between people and businesses in the digital world. Digital payments have revolutionized how quickly we can send and receive money. And let me give you some examples here. We have person-to-person payment apps. These are apps like Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, and they allow you to send money to friends, family, or even service providers almost instantly. You can split a dinner bill, pay your share of the rent, send a gift, all from your phone. And then there's also contactless payments. You can tap your phone or credit card at a checkout instead of swiping or inserting the card. You've probably seen people do this at coffee shops and grocery stores already. And then we have online checkout payments. When you buy something online, you can often save the payment information using digital wallets like Apple Pay or Google Pay, or even buy now, pay later services. Now, there are also automatic reoccurring payments, like we talked about earlier, subscriptions like your streaming services, gym memberships, and softwares that can be set up to charge your card automatically each month. So here's what I want you to hold alongside all of this convenience. Awareness is essential and critical. Speed and ease are valuable. They can save us mental energy and save us time, but they can also lead us to make quick decisions without proper verification. They can make it easier to lose track of where our money is going. So as we explore these tools today, we'll keep asking the question, how do we maintain awareness while still enjoying convenience? And that's the mindful balance we're seeking. So a quick question for the chat. What is one digital payment you made this week? And there's no need to share the amounts, just the type. Was it using one of those person-to-person apps or contactless pay, online checkouts, or a reoccurring payment? Chris, are you seeing any answers in the chat?
Yes, definitely. There's Venmo, Zelle, somebody, per the recent tax deadline here, IRS quarterly taxes were paid.
Mhm.
Online checkout, credit union bill pay. Somebody's paid their student loan via bill pay. Somebody has a recurring payment set up. That's always a great idea, so you don't have one one less item to think about to take every month if it's automated. E-check for credit card payment, auto deposit. Several methods.
Awesome. So let's talk about the relationship between convenience and awareness. Now that digital tools are more prevalent, it's designed to be fast and easy. And that's not an accident, it's intentional. Companies invest millions of dollars into making interfaces smooth, their buttons attractive, and processes quick. And that serves us in many ways. Here's what can happen when things become too easy and too frictionless. We might spend less time reviewing our transactions. We might look at the notification and swipe it away without really processing what it said. And we might make more impulse purchases. It's so easy, one click and it's done. There's no moment to pause and ask, do I really need this? Does this really align with my goals? And we might even make quick decisions without verification. Someone texts us asking for money and we send it immediately because it's so easy without confirming whether that request is actually legitimate. And none of this makes us bad with money. None of this is a character flaw, simply a natural human response to how these systems are designed. And the good news is that we have the power to build small habits of awareness here so we can restore balance. We can enjoy the convenience and stay in control. We can let technology serve us instead of the other way around. And that's what transformation looks like in this space. It's not rejecting these tools, but using them intentionally. So before we move into solutions, I want to hear about your concerns. What are your primary concerns about digital financial solutions? And you can check all that apply. We know concerns are often layered and complex. We have options like security and fraud protection, privacy and personal information concerns, difficulty understanding how to use these tools, hidden fees, hidden costs, technical issues, or glitches. Or maybe you don't have any concerns.
People definitely have concerns here. Security, fraud protection, B, privacy of personal information. Looks like that's a pretty prominent response here. Um, Also, some folks are indicating difficulty in understanding how to use those things. Hidden fees and costs has been identified. Ensuring security and integrity with new tools. Uh, somebody had mentioned they had experienced identity theft. It took over 3 months to recover all of their all of the basis of their costs.
Mm. So I'm seeing several major concerns around the security and privacy of these new technological tools. And that's very valid. So we talked about how digital financial services are now matter and what they are, and some of the concerns, especially related to security. Now we're going to shift into how how do we protect ourselves? How do we practice security behaviors that are manageable and not overwhelming? And I want to be clear about something. Security isn't about being perfect. It's not about never making a mistake or implementing every possible safeguard, because that's not realistic and that's not sustainable. Instead, security is about making these consistent habits, small, repeatable actions that become automatic over time. It's about progress, not perfection. So, in this next section, we're going to explore practical, accessible security basics like how to recognize scams, how to build healthy digital money habits, and everything I share will be something you can actually do starting today. So, starting with the basics, the foundational practices that can significantly protect your financial accounts. And once again, we're building habits here, not achieving perfection. So, one simple practice is to use unique and strong passwords. And this means a strong password is at least 12 characters, including a mix of letters, numbers, and symbol. It shouldn't be something easily guessable like password 123 or your birthday. And what unique means is that you use a different password for every financial account. And I know what you might be thinking. This sounds impossible to remember. I have 50 accounts. How can I remember all of these passwords? And that's where password managers come in. They're apps that securely store all your passwords, and you only need to remember one master password. Think of it like a secure digital filing cabinet for your passwords. So another practice to begin implementing is turning on multi-factor authentication. This means even if someone gets your password, they can't access your account without a second form of verification. Usually it's a code sent to your phone or an authentication app. And this is like having two locks on your door instead of having one. Most banks and financial apps offer this now, and I strongly encourage everyone to turn it on. Yes, it can take an extra 10 seconds to log in, but it's one of the most powerful security tools available now. And third, monitor your account activity regularly. This is where mindfulness meets security. Check your accounts at least once a week, just a quick scan to look over your recent transactions. Be sure to look for anything unfamiliar. This is a habit that catches fraud early, often before any serious damage is done. And as a bonus, it also helps you stay aware of your spending patterns. And number four, avoid public Wi-Fi for financial transactions. Public Wi-Fi is everywhere at coffee shops, airports, or hotels. It's certainly convenient, but it's not secure. When you access your bank account or make a payment on public Wi-Fi, you're potentially exposing your information to other people on the network. Instead, use your cell phone's data instead, or wait until you're on a secure password protected network. It's good to remember security is not about perfection, it's about applying consistent habits. Even using one or two of these practices can make you significantly safer than you were before. So having covered these four security basic practices, what's one thing you'll start implementing this coming week? As folks are thinking about this, what are some practices that you can start implementing this week to help you secure your digital financial safety?
Yeah, Julia, folks are saying that avoiding the public Wi-Fi,
Mhm.
changing passwords, reviewing accounts regularly, weekly monitoring, and it's more avoiding public Wi-Fi. These are great. Uh, yeah, just a lot of this is like that mindfulness, as Julius said earlier. These tools can make life easier, but they can also make them too easy and um, take us away from good hygiene, financial hygiene, like monitoring accounts, monitoring activity, reviewing everything. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mindfulness is so important. So is being intentional about the tools that we're using. Okay, so another big topic, let's talk about scams. I know this can feel scary, but I want to approach this from a place of empowerment, not fear. Scams nowadays are sophisticated. Scammers can be sophisticated and they're constantly evolving their tactics. But there are some common patterns and warning signs that appear again and again. When you know what to look for, you can spot these attempts before scammers succeed. So let's go through some of the most common warning signs. The first one is urgent payment requests. Scammers create artificial urgency by sending messages like, your account will close in 24 hours, send the money immediately, or face consequences. Legitimate institutions don't operate this way. Urgency is a manipulation tactic designed to prevent you from thinking clearly. And when you feel rushed, that's your signal to slow down. Second of all, messages asking for passwords or codes. This is critical. No legitimate bank, payment service, or company will ever ask you to share your password or verification code by text message, email, or phone. Never. If someone asks for this, it's a scam, period. Those codes are meant to verify your identity to the system, not to another person. And third, unexpected payment links. You get a text or email with a link asking you to click to verify something or make a payment. Even if it looks official, even if it has the right logo, don't click. Go directly to the company's website or app yourself using a bookmark or by typing in the address. Or you can call the customer service number from their website, not from the message. And fourth, requests from unfamiliar contacts or familiar contacts that are acting unusually. You might get a request from someone claiming to be your friend, your family member, saying they're in trouble and need money immediately. Before sending anything, verify. Verify through another method by calling them, video chat, or using a different app. Scammers can fake numbers and accounts. So the bottom line, when in doubt, pause and verify through official channels. Legitimate organizations will never mind this, that you're taking the time to confirm. In fact, they encourage it. Have you ever encountered something like this? Urgent requests, suspicious links, or password requests? Let us know in the chat. I'm seeing some responses, yes, links, especially by email. Some phone calls.
Julie, there was an earlier comment or a question
Mhm.
asking a little bit more explanation about a password manager. It says, it seems that if someone is able to access that, then they would get more passwords.
Password managers. If someone is able to access it, then they get more passwords. So it's really important that your password manager is secure. Chris, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, the secure the typically the password managers are, there has multiple levels of security, and it's going to ask probably multiple steps of verification. So, in theory, I suppose that is correct, but it's uh, I guess there is some risk there, but the convenience I think far outweighs the potential risk again, because there's that password should that one password, you'll be much more um, equipped to recall and remember that one password versus the several complex passwords that you may have for your different websites or applications and so forth. So um, yeah, I see your point, and nothing in life is 100%, but typically, and the market varies, of course. You're going to want to check the credentials in terms of the Better Business Bureau and see if there's been any security breaches with that particular company. But generally speaking, password manager companies are going to, be very diligent in protecting the data that's in there. So, but yeah, that is technically correct. If somebody were to get into that, then of course they would be exposed to the other passwords. Again, just like in the marketplace, you're gonna have to just kind of research a particular company and their protocols on protecting your data.
Thanks, Chris, for the thorough response. There's definitely trade-offs when you're using a password manager versus having the passwords one by one individually. So next up, we have healthy digital money habits. Healthy digital money habits are routines that, when practiced consistently, they support long-term financial awareness and security. And these are sustainable changes that come from small, repeatable actions, not massive overhauls. So, like we've been talking about, the first one is to review your transactions weekly. You could pick a day or time, maybe a Sunday morning with your coffee or Wednesday evening, and spend 5-10 minutes scanning your transactions across your accounts. You're looking for two things. Number one, accuracy. And number two, awareness. Did you make these purchases? And do they reflect your intentions? This habit catches errors and fraud early and keeps your account safe, keeps you connected to where your money is actually going. And number two is turning on spending alerts. We talked about earlier setting up notifications so you can get a text message or email when your money moves in and out of your accounts. You can customize these. Maybe you only want alerts when the transactions are over $50 or when your balance drops under a certain amount. These alerts are your early warning systems. They require just a moment of attention, but that moment can save you from much bigger problems from happening. And third, like we talked about, verify requests before sending a payment. And fourth, separate your spending apps from your savings account. This lessens the chances of spending more than you intended to and prevents you from dipping into your savings. Once again, small habits support long-term financial awareness. And if you'd like support putting these habits into practice, you can feel free to schedule a one-on-one financial coaching appointment. We're happy to sit down with you and go over your budget, review your spendings, and set up your savings goals.
Hey, Julie, on that
Chris?
note, I'm going to go ahead and put in the link to go ahead and schedule an appointment online. I'm going to put that there in the chat if you would like to meet one-on-one with a counselor. And I'll be sharing this later throughout the presentation as well, and it's going to be included in your materials for this.
Wonderful. Thank you for dropping that into the chat. And then now we're going to shift gears a bit and go into an activity called digital do or a digital don't? I'm going to share several real-world scenarios with you, and I want you to decide whether each one represents a safe, smart practice, a digital do, or a risky behavior, a digital don't. This exercise will help you apply what we've learned today and develop your instincts for recognizing secure versus risky digital financial behaviors. Think of it as your chance to practice making mindful decisions before you actually encounter these situations. Ready? Let's dive in. So here is our first scenario, and you will hear an audio clip.
Suspicious activity. Oh, so call.
Julia, we can't hear.
The audio is a little faint there, Julia.
Oh, okay. All right, let me try this again.
I receive a text that appears to be from my bank saying there was suspicious activity on my account, and it includes a phone number to call. So I call the number in the message to resolve it right away.
Would you be able to
Hopefully,
raise the more, Julia?
is the audio coming through?
It's coming through. It's a little faint, but it's coming through.
Okay, great. I'll increase the volume for the next one. But it looks like everyone's got it. It's definitely a digital don't. Scammers can send texts that look like they're real with official looking logos and urgent language. And these phone numbers may connect you with a scammer. So the safe approach is to not click the link, don't call the number in the message. Instead, call the official number on the back of your credit or debit card or from their verified website. This prevents you from giving away sensitive information to criminals. Okay, so we have scenario 2 now, and we are on max volume.
A coworker asks me to send them money through a payment app for group lunch. And since I recognize their name in the app, I send the payment without confirming it with them directly.
So what are we thinking? I'm seeing do not, don't, and that's exactly right. While it might seem overly cautious, here's the reality. Scammers can create accounts with names similar to people you know, or worse, hack into their accounts, have compromised accounts. So before sending any payments, especially if the request is unexpected or coming through a digital channel, take a second to verify. Send a quick message to your friend or call them and ask, hey, did you just request money from me? This one small step is what we call multi-channel verification and can prevent you from sending money to a scammer. Remember, this is our healthy habit from earlier. Verify requests before sending payments. Now on to scenario 3.
My banking app offers the option to enable fingerprint or face recognition for login, so I turn it on to avoid typing my password every time.
So let's see what we're all thinking here. Some folks are saying do. Some are saying it's a personal choice, but I wouldn't. So actually, this is a digital do. Biometric authentication using your fingerprint or facial recognition recognition is one of the most secure ways to protect your financial apps. It's unique to you, it's hard to replicate, and adds a strong layer of protection beyond just the password. It's also convenient, which means you're more likely to keep your security features enabled. And it's a perfect example of how security and convenience can work together. It's also important to make sure your device itself is secured with a password or biometric lock. So if your phone is ever stolen, your financial apps stay protected. And here we have scenario 4.
While traveling, I need to pay a bill before the due date, so I log into my bank account using the hotel's public Wi-Fi to make the payment quickly.
What do we think? I'm seeing the answers rolling in. No, with a capital letter, and do not use. So that's right. We talked about earlier, public Wi-Fi is not secure. So the hotel Wi-Fi, coffee shop Wi-Fi, anyone with the right tools can potentially intercept your data that you're sending, including your login credentials and financial information. If you absolutely need to handle financial tasks while away from home, use your cell phone's cellular data connection instead, which is much more secure. Or better yet, wait until you connect to a secure, password-protected network. Your financial security is worth the wait. And here we have the next scenario.
I receive an email from a company I regularly shop with saying my payment information needs to be updated. And since I've ordered from them before, I click the link in the email to update my card details.
What do we think about this scenario here? Seeing lots of notes. Is this a digital do or digital don't? This is a digital don't. The safer practice is to contact the official number from the official website instead of clicking the link, which may be coming from a scammer. All right, next scenario.
I use a budgeting app that connects to my bank account so it can track my spending automatically, and I allow the connection after reviewing the app's security and permissions.
What do we think? Digital do or digital don't? Some folks are saying no. This is actually a digital do. Budgeting apps can be powerful tools for financial awareness and organization. The key here is after reviewing the app's security and permissions. Before we connect or use any app for your financial accounts, we must do our homework. We must read the reviews, check the app if they use bank level encryption and understand what permissions it's requesting, and review its privacy policy. Reputable apps use secure read-only access to your accounts, which means they can see your transactions, but they can't move your money. And when you use these tools thoughtfully, they can support your financial goals without compromising your security. And here we have scenario 7.
A friend messages me on social media saying they lost access to their payment app and asks if I can send money to a new account they created.
Digital do or don't. Seeing no's and don't. That's absolutely correct. This is a digital dome, and it's one of the most common scams we're seeing today. Social media accounts are frequently hacked. Scammers use them to impersonate your family members or friends, and they often make requests involving urgency and sob stories to tug at your emotions. So before we send any money based on social media requests, we must verify through a different channel. Call your friend, text them, video chat to make sure it's really them making the request. And your real friends will understand your caution. This is an example of that critical habit of verifying requests before sending payments, especially when something feels off or unusual. Now, for scenario 8,
I enable transaction alerts on my bank account, but after a while I stop paying attention to them because there are so many notifications.
what do we think? I see no, don't ignore. Adjust your parameters for notifications. Always pay attention to the money trail. So this is a digital dome, although this is an understandable one. We all experience notification fatigue. However, the transaction alerts are one of your most powerful tools for catching fraud early. If you find yourself ignoring them, then it's a sign to adjust your settings, not to turn them off completely. And most banks let you customize the alerts. Maybe you only want to be notified when your transaction is over a certain dollar amount or when there's a withdrawal, but not deposits. So I recommend finding a balance that works for you. And the goal is to have alerts you actually pay attention to, because catching an unauthorized transaction within hours instead of weeks makes a huge difference in the recovery. Now for our final scenario.
I read the text verification code to someone claiming to be from my bank, urgently asking me for it to secure my account from suspicious behavior.
Is this a digital do or a digital don't? I'm seeing don't, and that's right. This is absolutely a digital don't. And it's one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make. Most importantly, your bank will never ask you for a verification code. These codes are meant for you and you alone. They're designed to prove that you're the one trying to access your account. And when you give that code to someone else, even if they sound official and urgent, you're essentially handing them the keys to your account. Scammers are pros at creating urgency and impersonating authority. So if someone asks you for a verification code, hang up immediately and contact your bank directly using the official number. This one is a non-negotiable for your financial security. So we've explored threats, tools, and scenarios. Now let's talk about what actually matters, the habits that transform knowledge into protection. Number 1, pause before sending money. Verify the requests, especially unexpected ones. This habit stops most scams cold. Number 2, review your accounts regularly. A weekly check-in catches fraud early and before any damage compounds. Number 3, use your account alerts. Notifications keep you aware of real activity in real time. They're your early warning system. 4th, separate spending and savings tools. This reduces impulse transfers or accidental spending. These aren't rules to follow blindly. They're practices that help digital tools support your financial goals instead of working against them. Pick one, start there, and build from what works. All right, so let's lock in on what matters. Digital banking and payment tools make managing money faster and more convenient. And that's the reality we're living in now. Understanding how these tools work helps you stay in control of your finances, not the other way around. These simple security habits can reduce the risk of fraud and scams. We're talking basic practices like strong passwords, multi-factor authentication, and verification before payment. Taking a moment to verify your request protects both your money and your information, and it's straightforward. Small routines like reviewing your transactions or setting alerts builds long-term confidence. You don't need to become a cybersecurity expert. You don't need to be consistent. You do need to be consistent though. And with these few smart practices, that's the difference between vulnerability and security. So knowledge without action changes nothing. Here's what you can do next. Turn on your account alerts to stay informed about activity, and do this today if you haven't already. Number 2, review your recent transactions and confirm they look correct. This takes 5 minutes and catches problems early. 3, update your passwords and strengthen them for your financial accounts. Use unique passwords, not variations of the same one. And then 4, verify your payment requests before sending money digitally. Number 5, schedule a short weekly check-in with your financial accounts. Put it in your calendar, treat it like any other appointment. These are actions to start taking this week. Start with one and then add another. And that's how habits form, through repetition and intention. So in the chat, type in one action you'll complete in the next 48 hours. Number 5, excellent. So today we've covered security basics, scam recognition, practical habits, and immediate actions. If you'd like personal support in applying these ideas and tools to your own finances, you're welcome to schedule a free financial coaching appointment through the link provided in the chat. We have phone appointments, video appointments, and in person at the library. And I'll save the remaining time for any quick questions before passing it back to Haviza.
All right. Thank you, Julia, so much for that informative presentation. And thank you all for joining us today. We hope to see you sign up for the San Francisco Financial Counseling session and join us again next month for our webinar, Summer of Savings with the LGBT Center on May 13th from 1 to 2 p.m. to discover strategies to help you achieve your financial goals. We'll explore the advantages of creating a spending plan, tracking your expenses, creating a map of your goals and how to reach them, as well as practical tips for saving and managing your debt. Thank you all for joining us today. I'll be sharing the recording along with the slides from today's presentation. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care.